Are you ready to decorate for Christmas? Well, stick with me because in today's video, I'm sharing with you all new Dollar Tree DIYs that you can use to decorate for the holidays. First up, let's make a holiday candy jar. Now, this is very similar to one that I made in the fall, just with Christmas colors. You're gonna need 2 glass jars. I think the round one is really key here, and then this other jar is perfect. You can find those in the glassware at Dollar Tree. You're also going to need a wood piece and some sort of handle. This was one that I already had in my craft room. So I'm gonna start with the wood piece. I'm gonna cut off the little hanger and I'm gonna fill the hole with wood filler. Once the wood filler dries, I'm gonna sand it down so it's flat with the wood piece. I'm gonna spray the base bowl and the wood piece with 2 coats of a white spray paint on both sides. I'm gonna spray my knob red. Once everything has a chance to dry, I'm gonna take the wood base and turn it upside down. I'm gonna put E6000 on the bottom of my clear jar and I'll place it on the wood base. You wanna let this sit and dry overnight. I'm also going to add some E6000 to my handle and put that on top of the wood piece. Once they have a chance to dry, you can fill this up with your favorite holiday candy. I'm gonna put some peppermints in, and this would be so cute sitting out in your kitchen for the holidays. I have such a cool new product to share with you from my friends at Govee. I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Now, I have several Govee products around my house that I use, but this one is so cool for the holidays. I'm gonna add the Govee Christmas string lights to my tree. Now, these lights are so much more than your traditional lights. They do so much more. So I'm gonna start by installing them on my Christmas tree. I'll connect the control box to the power adapter. So I'll plug this into the wall and then it'll power on with this. Next, I'm gonna string up the lights, starting at the bottom and working my way up the top. Next, I'm gonna adjust my spacing until I'm happy with where the lights are. Now, to control your string lights, you wanna download the Govee Home app and easily pair the string lights to the app. Once you have it in app, it's really easy to control the lights. Compared with traditional lights, these lights will do so much. Depending on the colors you have in your home, you can actually change the color of your lights to fit in with your decor or depending on your mood. The Govee app comes with all these really fun presets that you can use on your tree. Some of the fun presets are Christmas wreath, party, sleep, and twinkle. The Govee Christmas string lights use clear drop beads, which gives a crystal clear effect. With the one light bead technology, it allows each of the lights to be independently controlled, so you have all these fun effects. The lights are waterproof, so you can use them indoor or outdoor. I think the coolest thing is the built-in music mode. So whenever you're having a party, you can synchronize your lights with whatever music you're playing at your parties. It's so cool.
Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me, hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be?
It's also compatible with Google Home and Alexa. There's so many uses for these Christmas lights. Now, you could definitely put them on your tree like I did. You could also add them to your mantle, but don't forget about outside. These would be so cool outside of your house. And the lights are waterproof for outdoor use. I'm gonna put a link to the Govee Christmas string lights down in the description box below. So click on that link, go check them out. They're gonna be perfect for the holidays. If you love the look of those big wrap presents, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, here's a way you can do it yourself. First, you're going to need a box, an Amazon box or something you have around your house. A square box is going to be best for this project. Tape the box completely shut. Then you're going to need some tinsel. Now, the tinsel I'm using is from Hobby Lobby. It's a lot thicker than most tinsels, you can use Dollar Tree tinsel, but you're just going to need to get more of it. I'm gonna start at the base and hot glue my tinsel. I also went with red because I want it to be really bold, and red is definitely my color that I'm going for this year in my living room. I'm gonna continue to wrap the tinsel around, hot gluing it in place. Once I get it back to the start, I'm just going to overlap it. And then once I get to that top edge, I'm just gonna hot glue it to the corner. I'll continue to wrap it and hot glue on the top of the box. Next, you need some ribbon to finish this off. So I'm gonna be using a green velvet ribbon. You wanna make sure that you pick up a ribbon that has wire in it. It's gonna be a lot easier for forming your bow. Start with putting the green ribbon underneath the bottom of your present, and you'll wrap it around the top and hot glue it in place. Now let's create a bow for the top of our present. So to do that, take your green ribbon, you're gonna figure out how long you want it to be, and you can just do that by kind of placing it on top of the box to see, how big you want it to be. I usually try to make it about 2 inches in from the outside of my present. You're just gonna wrap it around as many loops as you want. I want 3 loops on each side, so that's what I did. To hold the middle in place, I'm just gonna fold it in half. Then I'm gonna put a zip tie in the middle to hold it in place. Now from here, you wanna cut off the excess of your zip tie. I'm also gonna take a little piece of green ribbon and wrap it around my zip tie just to cover it so you don't see it. I'm gonna fan out all of my loops on my bow until I like the way it looks. Once I'm happy with it, I'll just hot glue the bow on the top of my present, and here's how it looks. It makes such a big statement, and it's super cute. I feel like I see vintage bells on all sorts of high-end sites, and they can be really pricey. I'm gonna show you how to make some large vintage bells that you can recreate with Dollar Tree items. What you wanna pick up are plastic glasses. These ones are the perfect shape. So I bought 3 of them. I'm probably only gonna use 2, but I didn't know how they would turn out. So I'm gonna start by putting a hole in the bottom. So just get a drill. You wanna put a hole that's big enough so that your string that you're gonna be using will fit through the hole. Now I'm gonna spray them black. I feel like that's the key when you're doing any kind of vintage gold look. You wanna start with a black spray paint because it really gives that dark aged look. Once the black spray paint has dried, I'm gonna come in with gold rub and buff. Now there's multiple colors of gold rub and buff. I'll link to my gold rub and buff down in the description box. I buy it on Amazon and I use it all the time for so many different crafts. If you don't have it, it's definitely worth picking up. So figure out which gold you wanna use. I like to put on a glove because this can kind of get all over your hands whenever you're doing this. I'm also going to be using some bells that I picked up from Dollar Tree. Right now, I'll add rub and buff to the bells as well. Put as little or as much as you like, and if you're not happy with it, you can always go back in and add more. Let that dry completely, then it's time to assemble your bells. So what I like to do is use some twine. So I'm gonna get a long piece of twine and I'm going to tie a knot at the top. I'm gonna tie the knot 3 times so that it's gonna hold in place when I put it through my bell. I'm gonna push the twine through my cup and I'll pull it to the bottom. I want the bells to kind of hang down about 1 inch lower than my bell. So I'll loop it through one of the pieces of twine and then I will tie it off, making sure that it's hanging where I want it to be hanging. And then I'll cut off the excess twine. Now, one of the problems I had was I didn't take into account how to hang it. Once you pull the hanger, the bell's gonna go up. So what I decided to do was just put some hot glue into the bottom of my cup, let that dry, and that's gonna hold it in place. You can use these to decorate mantles, swag pieces, wreaths. They're so cute, and I love the way it turned out. If you're having trouble finding some of the Christmas items out at Dollar Tree, I'm gonna show you how to make a Christmas item with just regular items from Dollar Tree. So what you're gonna need to pick up are 8 wood pieces that are a smaller size, and then I picked up one that's a little bit of a larger size. I'm gonna show you how to put together a large tree without using any screws. If you have a cutting mat, get it out at this point because that'll really help you with measuring out your pieces. So you're gonna start with one of your sides of your tree. And I want to measure them out about 4 inches apart. So I'm just going to, every 4 inches, put a new piece on, and I'm going to use wood glue to hold the pieces in place. And I'm going to add 4 pieces to one side. So I'm going to repeat that on my second side. I'm going to make them the exact same size. Now, as you're doing this, you may have to use something to kind of hold everything in place. I had a bunch of paint bottles that I used to kind of hold it in place. Once you have them put together, put all of your paint bottles around there and hold everything in place and let it dry overnight. The next day, you're gonna come back and assemble your tree. So to do that, you're gonna put some hot glue at the top of your wood pieces and push the 2 tops together. Then you're gonna put some hot glue on the bottom, and then with that longer board, you're gonna place that as your base. Kind of move it around till you're happy with where it's situated, and then again, use paint or whatever you have to prop it up and let it dry overnight. That's all you have to do, and if you have any excess glue, you can always sand that off, but here's how this wood tree turned out. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the words of the day, which is Christmas DIY. I love the look of greenery vases sitting out for the holidays, but sometimes Dollar Tree doesn't have really long greenery. So for this next DIY, I did pick up some greenery from Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna be using a glass thrifted vase, but you could use any vase that you had around your house. Since it is glass, I'm gonna start off by putting in some faux snow. I used about 5 bags of Dollar Tree faux snow. Then I'm gonna put in my greenery pieces. Since it's the holidays, you can really add that glitter and ornaments, and I love to be a little bit glitzy this time of year. So I'm gonna be using a pack of gold and white ornaments from Dollar Tree. And instead of hanging them, since these branches are a lot smaller, I'm actually gonna hot glue them onto my branches. Now, if you didn't wanna do that, you could always hang them. You could also use wire to attach them if you wanted to reuse them. I'm gonna hot glue the ornaments onto my branches. Now, a tip here is you wanna go from the back side. That way you don't see the top of your ornament from the front side. So put the hot glue on the ornament topper and place it on the back side. Just hold it in place until it's dry. And then go to the front of your arrangement and kind of look where you need to add a few pieces here and there. But once you're happy with it, if you need to add any additional faux snow, you can do that as well. But how gorgeous is this sitting out on my coffee table? This next DIY would be perfect to sit out for the holidays, or you could also give it as a gift. I love to put together picture frames. I love having pictures of my family out in my home. So what you need to pick up is an 8x10 frame. I picked up this one at Dollar Tree. I think I like the black frames the most from Dollar Tree. I feel like they look the most high end. So I'm gonna start by removing all the contents. There was this piece of twine on there that I did have to pull out with some scissors and my wire cutters. But once I remove everything, I just picked up a piece of fabric that matched my decor. You could use any fabric, and you want to cut out a square of your fabric that's about 2 inches longer than the backing piece. Then you're going to move the backing piece so you have it centered exactly where you want it to show on the front. Then you're going to hot glue 2 sides down in the back. Now with the other 2 sides, what you're gonna do is pull in the corners, hot glue those in place, and then hot glue the edges. Then you can add it back to your frame, flip it over. Now I was just going to put the picture directly on there, but I felt like it needed a little bit more of a black mat. So I went in my craft room and pulled out some black cardstock, and I hot glued the 4 corners of my picture and put it on the black cardstock. And then I cut out the other 2 sides, trying to make it as even as possible. You could also use a cutting mat if you didn't trust yourself with the scissors. I hot glued the 4 corners of the black cardstock and placed it in the center of my frame. This frame is a perfect Pottery Barn dupe. Have you ever wondered what to do with these white trees from Dollar Tree? I'm gonna show you how to make a winter wonderland style tree. So you're gonna need 1 white tree. You're also going to need some of these crystally picks. I found these in the holiday section at Dollar Tree. I don't think I've seen these before, and I thought they would be really great on my tree. So I'm gonna start by opening up the tree and adding on the legs. Next, I wanted to add those picks. So I cut them down to be a little bit longer than the branches, maybe like 1 or 2 inches longer than my current branches. And I cut them down with just some wire cutters. I'm either gonna wrap them around the trunk of my tree, or I'll hot glue them in place. And they're just going to sit on top of my existing branches. I'm gonna keep adding my picks so I have them on each level of my tree. I'm also going to add a pick to the top. Now I'm gonna take it out and spray paint it. This was definitely one where I added and saw what it looked like and then added more spray paint. So I started by just doing quick shots of white spray paint on the top. I wanted it to look like the paint was coming down from the top, almost like snow. Next, I came in with a silver color. This was just a mirrored spray paint I had, and I just kind of sprayed it around the tree. Then I also added in a glitter spray paint, but I felt like it wasn't as glittery as I wanted it to be, so I actually sprinkled on some additional glitter. Now, if you're gonna sprinkle glitter on, make sure you do it when your spray paint is still wet. That's gonna help it adhere to your tree better. Let this sit outside, dry a little bit. What I use for the base is some Dollar Tree burlap fabric. They sell this over in the craft section. Open that up, and then I just pulled it up around my tree to look kind of like a big burlap sack. And then to hold it in place, all I used was a little bit of twine, tied it in a knot, cut off the excess, and here's how it turned out. Make sure you paint that subscribe button. If you're watching me on your phone, the subscribe button is right next to my channel name. Click the red subscribe button so it goes from red to gray. You can also click the notification bell so you can see more videos like my Dollar Tree DIYs, home hacks, and room makeovers. I saw these votive candles on Pottery Barn's website and definitely thought I could recreate these with Dollar Tree items. So you want to pick up a variety of glass containers. Now Dollar Tree has a pretty big selection, so these are the 5 containers I picked up. I also got some raised embossed stickers. Now these are over in the craft section and they have quite a variety. So I started by just figuring out which stickers I wanted to put on each vase. Then came the fun part, which was basically just deciding how I wanted to add the stickers on. So I did each one a little bit different. With my larger one, I put some going one way and the other. I just tried to vary the way I did it on each of my containers. Next, I'm going to spray all the containers with a white spray paint. So you want to make sure you cover those stickers really well. So do 2 coats on the bottom side, flip them over, and do another 2 coats on the top. Once that has a chance to dry, I wanted to bring out all of that texture with some Rub and Buff. So you're gonna use Rub and Buff and any gold color, or you could use any silver, whatever color you like. Now, whenever you're adding the Rub and Buff, you want to do it very light-handed unless you want the Rub and Buff to be on the other white areas of your glass. If you're just wanting it to be on those raised areas, you want to go really light with your foam brush. And then I also made sure I put some Rub and Buff on the top edge of all my glasses. Honestly, I kind of varied it depending on the glass. When you put them together in a grouping, I think they look really cute. And if you were going with neutral decor for the holidays, I think this would be perfect. Mushrooms have been a major trend for 2023, so I thought it was only fitting to try to do one in an ornament. So for this ornament, what I'm gonna be using are some acorn toppers. Now, I did buy these off of Amazon, so I will link them for you down below if you want to purchase them as well. And then I just used a stick from outside as my base. I'm gonna cut the end of my stick with a hacksaw so it has a nice flat edge. Then I'm gonna take one of my toppers and put it on the end and kind of determine how long I want them to be. I figured about 3 inches was good, but honestly for each of my mushrooms, I kind of measured them out and I wanted them all to be different since this was a really natural look. So I sawed all of the sticks down so that they fit on the toppers. I felt like the colors of my toppers and my sticks were too similar. So what I did to correct that was I just used an ivory sample color that I had and I lightly brushed that on my sticks. I felt like that really kind of enhanced the color of the sticks. Next, I'm gonna put some hot glue in my toppers and place the sticks inside. And then to hang them, I'm just going to use a little bit of twine because I was going for that natural look and tie that off, and I'll hot glue it on the top of my acorn toppers. And then you can hang them on your tree. If you're going for a natural look, these would look perfect in your home. Let me show you a quick wall art piece that you could do with these black frames. So you're gonna start with 3 of these black frames. You're also going to need to pick up some white ornaments that look similar but have a little bit of variation. Now I'm gonna start by spray painting the entire picture frame. I'm gonna spray paint the back as well as the front. You don't wanna take anything out. I'm gonna spray paint the back and the front with 2 coats of a matte white spray paint. Once those dry, I'm going to use my gold Rub and Buff. I feel like I'm using the Rub and Buff a lot in this video, so it's definitely one, if you're gonna do these DIYs, you're gonna wanna pick up. Again, I'll link it for you down below, but I'm gonna use the gold Rub and Buff to place around the corners. I also thought this would look great with like the black Rub and Buff, or if you don't have Rub and Buff, you could use any color of paint along the edges. Let that dry, and then you're gonna hot glue your ornaments in the middle. Now, I went with white ornaments. This would also be cute if you had like 3 like colorful ornaments. Go with, you know, reds, greens, whatever you're gonna use in your home, and just hot glue them about the same height on each of your frames. And they look so great sitting out in a grouping. You can put them on your shelf or hang them on your wall. I want to show you a way that you can add a little bit of flair to a wreath. Maybe you have a natural wreath and you want kind of a fun wreath hanger. So what you're going to need for this is some sort of ornaments. I'm going to be using these 2 snowflakes. I cut off half of one of my snowflakes, and then I'm going to hot glue them together. Then I spray painted this snowflake with 2 coats of a white spray paint. Now you're going to need some ribbon. I had this gold ribbon that I picked up. Wire ribbon works best if you can get wire ribbon. And I would say about 3 inches widthwise is the best. And I'm just gonna cut off a really long piece and then I'll hot glue my ornament to this ribbon. Now to hang this up, I love hanging up a wreath using a clear command hook. I think that works really well. And you're gonna place your ribbon on your clear command hook so that your ornament is about maybe like 2 or 3 inches from the top. Then you're going to take your wreath and put it underneath your ribbon and you're gonna tie it right underneath the ribbon. Do like a double knot. Then you can pull the ribbon down in the front. If you want the ribbon to be hanging long, you definitely can do that. Just cut it off a little bit lower. Or if you want it short, you can do that as well. But I think this is a cute wreath hanger and it definitely dresses up any wreath. It's your turn to vote. Let me know down in the comments which of these DIYs was your favorite. I love knowing your opinion. Don't be afraid to try that project you've always wanted to try. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. I hope you subscribe because I want to see you back here.